I came to the United States in 1974. I was grown up and lived in South Korea for a long time. I was about 30 years old. And then I decided to come to the United States. The reason I want to be an American because I met Americans during the Korean War. Those soldiers, to me, is weird looking. They got long nose. To me, yellow hairs. I've never seen people like that. But they are so good people. They fought for me, saved my freedom. And then that wasn't it. They gave me food when I was hungry. We were so poor. And then so cold day, and the American people sent clothes to wear, keep my body warm. And I was thinking, who are Americans? Where are these people? It's like a God. And then one day, as I grown up, my admiration for Americans has grown. I want to go to the United States, and I want to be like them, who sent me food, clothing, and then go out there, fight for people they never met. What a life. So I decided to come to the United States. It was a little late in my life, but I made it here in 1974. It was a brand new country, and nobody speak Korean, but it was like a heaven. As I heard before, the country, the United States of America, was and still is a land of opportunity. So I decided to maximize what this country gives. Work hard and make sure I have my own foundation to stand on. So I was happy. It was September 5th of 1974. I landed in Chicago O'Hare Airport and changed the flight to Indianapolis. It was only a short flight, about 25 minutes flight. I got on the small airplane, and there was a gentleman sitting next to me. He finished to read a newspaper, and then he gave it to me, and he said something, but I didn't understand what he's saying. But it seems like you want to read the newspaper. I finished, I'm ready to throw it away. So I took that newspaper, I looked at it, and there was Jerry Ford, the President Ford, there was a pardon, Richard Nixon from Watergate, all that new big pictures in the front page, but didn't care about much. I just went straight back to the last page with the 3 pages full of help wanted. So many employers are looking for somebody to work. This is the land of opportunity. I just left the country, 40% unemployment, and I came to this country that 3 pages full, very small letters. All these employers looking for some good people to work for. So I was so happy to see that health wanted section. So I go through. I went down to find out, because of my English in the first day of the United States, I had to start from the bottom. I found one job, a steakhouse in north part of Indianapolis, looking for a cleaner. So I circled that, tear it down and put it in my pocket, and then we landed, very short flight. We landed in Indianapolis airport, and before my luggage come out from the airplane, I went to a payphone and called them. And with the broken English, said, is the job still open? The cleaning, the position is available. And then they say, yes. Okay, can I come by for interview? Sure. Can I come by now? Sure. So I was so happy, and went back to Carousel, pick up my luggage, and straight out the door, airport, and I got in the yellow cab and gave that the little piece of advertisement, the address in there, gave it to the cab driver, and dropped me over that restaurant, Curtis Steakhouse on 82nd Street, in north part of Indianapolis, is Marion County. I walked in there it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I sat down and I told them I just got here. And then I don't have a reference, but I'm not going to steal anything. You hire me, I'll do a good job. And then 20 minutes later, I was hired. So when can I start? And then the manager said, anytime you want. So I said, well, can I start today? And he said, yes, come back in 11 o'clock. So my job was starting at 11 p.m. and goes through 7 a.m. all night long. When steakhouse closed down, I needed to clean all that, the kitchen. So 11 o'clock I showed up, and then I started cleaning. One thing I didn't like is I was alone in the steakhouse, but they locked up. They locked the big padlock and all around the steakhouse, and I was locked in, and I have nowhere to get out because I'm the first. They never know me, so I could possibly steal some steak or or big whatever in the restaurant. So they locked me in for 8 hours. Okay, well, that's the rule. And then, what if I get fired? And I asked that question. What if there's a fire, something going on, and what should I do? And he goes, well, there's a key and he gave me that little pickle jar, empty pickle jar, and key in it. As you can see, the key inside, and the glue around. And he gave it to me, and I said, okay. And after he left, I look at the pickle jar, a key is in it, and I say, Americans are very good people, but I think they are also the dumbs. If I'm a criminal, a thief, I'll break that thing anyway. Open the door and get out there with whatever valuables. Anyway, that was my first day of the United States. So I made a decision to come to the United States, be an American, and I've done good. Today, I'm a millionaire. I would say multi-millionaire. I started cleaning a kitchen steakhouse. Now I'm owner of a cleaning company, commercial cleaning contractor, have branches in 21 cities in the United States. I have more than 3,200 people involved in this business. And I came to this country with $200 in my pocket. So I owe a lot to this country. The opportunity was given to me. I made the most of it. I don't know I made the most of it, but I used it. And then I worked hard, but it was rewarded. However, the bottom line is, I'm much better than the day I got here. But is a country who gave me all this opportunity, is it better than the day I got here? September 1974, I was poor, now I'm rich. Is a country, the United States of America, is it richer or poorer than September 1974? Sure, we enjoyed 27. I think the United States GDP was $21,000, $27,000. I have no data with me, but much richer than Korea at that time. However, we grew up to the 40-some thousand dollars. Yeah, economically, we enjoyed all this prosperousness. However, work ethic and the value, the American value I was looking for, sometimes I feel like it's diminishing, and then I do not like it. It's not what I want to see. Anyway, there's some tangible thing I need to do. And how can I be a good citizen of this country? While I was working at the steakhouse, cleaning kitchen, and during the break time, I pick up in the coffee table. I pick up the magazine, old magazines. They got a stack of magazines, and I pick up one magazine. That was a U.S. U.S. News and World Report. It's a very old magazine. I flipped through that one page. It shows all the lists of highest taxpayers of the United States. The people, list of names who pay high tax. I looked at it and said, some people pay $40 million in tax. I said, whoa, I'm making $1.80 right now. How can they pay this kind of tax? The next night, next break, I look at it again. I looked at it about more than 2,000 times. Read all their names, memorized. I mean, trying to figure out who made the last of the list, the 400 people. The last page, it was about $3 million. That time is a lot of money. And I said to myself, I'm alone. He's locked in, you know, every night. I worked there 8 hours. And then I was thinking, talking to myself, say, you want to be in there one day. And don't kid yourself. You're making $1.80 and cleaning kitchen. You know, I'm going to school at daytime and then cleaning this kitchen at night. Okay, I want to be there. I still want to be there. And then I was aggravating myself. And then one day, I made a decision. I may not going to be there, but one day, I'll pay at least $1 million in income tax to the United States. If my mother was there, and she thought, oh, you finally got crazy, become crazy. But I made it that determined to be a $1 million taxpayer a year. And then the people wonder, so have you reached that goal? Be honest, I forgot that I made a decision. One day I'll be $1 million taxpayer, annual income taxpayer. 1997, I was complaining to my CPA, why I'm paying this so much tax? Why? Did you calculate it correctly? And I was upset about this, too much tax. I ended up paying more than $1 million. And I come home that evening, and before I go to sleep, they said, wait a minute, did I make a goal one day when I got it first time? 1974, 23 years ago? Yeah. I dig it out all the paperwork, and I wrote it down in that same magazine. I wrote it down, Sonny, I'll be one day, I'll be $1 million income taxpayer. And I was sitting down, kneel down, and pray, God, thank you. You sent me to the United States. It's a much more meaningful thing for you, God, send me to the United States. I will never be a $1 million income taxpayer or noticeable person to anybody, but you made me. You're almighty and you made me. I am not, no way I'm not that kind of person, but I pay a lot of tax. A lot of people, over thousands of people come to my company and work for me and under my leadership, and they clean toilets, floors, corners, and this gotta be God. It's not me. And overwhelmed. I couldn't sleep at night, crying all night, for overwhelmingly thankful to God, and say, God, you picked me to show somebody that your power. Please use me. Use me. I'm yours. And I was so thrilled and happy that God picked me to one of those front runners. Ever since then, I become a new person, and I see things differently. Everything what I do, everything other people do, everything my family members do is under God's plan. I'm a Presbyterian, so I maybe heard that too many sermons for Presbyterian preachers, but I sure did I still feel like that everyone has their own journey set by God. So today, I still think, and God give me life to be a janitor. This world, this whole world, without janitor, is going to be very, very dirty. And we took that important part and make place immaculate, clean. So people enjoy the work, and then productivity will go up. Simply because we, the janitors, clean up places. So I'm very proud. So I decided to change my title. I was a Chief Executive Officer before, and I changed my title to Chief Executive Janitor. So CEJ, people wonder, what is a CEJ? And then I tell them, it's Chief Executive Janitor. When President George W. Bush asked me, what's a CEJ? And I say, sir, it is a Chief Executive Janitor. And we clean all those bad, dirty restrooms. And we clean millions of toilets every night. So any job I'm in, I want to do good. And the God is amazing. So constantly pouring power and wisdom, strength, and whatever needed, and coming down if you want to do a good job. And looking back, United States also was created by God with all different people from everywhere, come to one place and make a country and then become the strongest, the most prosperous country in the whole world. It's got to be God. I don't think it is some few people. Sure, there's the leaders, founding fathers, there are the good statements, absolutely, but they are also created by God. So I'm looking at my life is very comfortable, and then all I have to do, I don't worry about something I can't control. I keep doing what I need to do every day and come home with happy. If I've done all my best, and then I'll be happy. If I miss something, yeah, I need to sit down and pray and say, I'll try to do more tomorrow or this coming weekend. Something else I've done in the first days in the United States, I memorized the American National Anthem. It is hard for me, hard for any immigrants to come to this country and then make America, the United States of America, and my country, which means you have to abandon your former country. That's hard. It's not easy. But you cannot have two wives. You cannot have two mothers. Yeah, if any immigrants try to do that, I suggest them to give up. It ain't gonna work. There's only one country you need to serve. I'm not asking anyone. You know, I had to agonize myself for a long time before I sworn as an American citizen. Should I stay as a South Korean or should I be American? Well, you came to the U.S. because of the country better. You left your former country to come to this country to have a better life. So you used all that cream of pie and then leave all the crumbs, just throw it away? No. Every rose has thorns. You got to take that too. So I want to be American. My body, soul, everything become American. In my heart, Korea lives right here. I'll never be out of a Korean heritage, but me and my future generation family will be American, and good American. So one of those things in my first days in the U.S. I want to do is I want to memorize national anthem, Star Spangled Banner. Always powerful. It took me a long time. It's memorizing Star Spangled Banner It's not. God bless America is much easier, but I did. And I, in fact, I printed it out in Korean and then translated to the Korean and Chinese and Vietnamese, and over millions of copies, and give it out to the community. So a lot of immigrants from Asia have that little card they can put in the wallet, and then they put it out and then join the singing together along with the fellow other Americans. It's a duty to do. Pledge of Allegiance, look at the American flag with a heartfelt thank, and then allegiance to the flag. It's very important. You want to do something, you better do good, not mediocre, not 80%, not 99%, 100%. At least the goal should be 100%. So I want to be a good American. In fact, the day I was sworn in as a courthouse downtown Atlanta, when I was sworn in as an American citizen, a lady from the Daughters of American Revolution gave me that the Constitution, book of a small book of Constitution, American flag, and a small carnation. And I came out and I looked up the sky and say, God, I'll be the best American this country ever had. I really did. I sworn in inside the courthouse, I'll be a patriot, I'll be a good American. I came out and I sworn to God, and I said I'll be the best one. It is something, a good lesson I learned from that. And then when I become a good American, a lot of things I start seeing, what this country needed from me. So these days, I'm working hard towards high school dropouts. I made a pretty good life so far. And I want to utilize that story to influence somebody. And one of the best way to pay back to this country is to help young people in the United States to inspire by my story so they do good. I visit and travel to 9 different states and work with high school dropouts at the boot camps that run by National Guard. It's called Youth Challenge Academy. There are a lot of kids, about 14,000 kids a year graduating that program from 29 boot camps in the United States. And I go out there, few of boot camps, and share my story. Gentlemen, ladies, this is a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid. And I say, I came to this country with no money, no language, no cousin to call when I'm in trouble, but I made it through. All you have to do is use what you have. You have everything I didn't have. You got more than $200 in your pocket. You know how to speak English. You got cousins and some parents or sisters and brothers. Listen, all we're asking is to read a book and go back to high school diploma. Is that something really hard? No. If you're determined to do it, you can do it. I came to this country while I was making only $1.80 an hour. I determined to be a millionaire. And not only a millionaire, I determined to be a $1 million income taxpayer, annual income taxpayer. You can finish high school. And they think, yeah. So same messages they heard from several different people over and over. But I feel like my message works a little better than others. So I keep going back. I was in Louisiana, I was in Fort Stewart, and I was in Augusta. Actually, next week I'm going down to Augusta again. Augusta, there's a inside of Fort Gordon base. There's another high school dropout boot camp. And I was in Mesa, Arizona. I was at the Fort Dix in New Jersey. Go around and meet the same young people. They're all bright and very good. However, they got the wrong direction And then this country is have about 34% of our high school kids are dropping out. That is a wrong. That is a real wrong. Almost 1/3. It is or more than 1/3 dropping out from high school. See, 56% average kids dropping out, more than half. About 45% of those people will end up jail. It's going to cost them whole life, and then taxpayers, it's going to cost at least $18,000 per year now. It's going to go up in the future. So I thought that my role is to help those young people. So I am spending a little time with them. And then that's my patriotism. I serve the USO. I'll go out there at the airport, meeting that the troops are coming home from overseas, abroad, and they're fighting our enemies, and then keep our freedom. They come home, and then they really tired bodies, but we give them a hug, and then coffee and donuts. USO Atlanta Airport is doing a great job, and I've been part of that, and I served the board member for over 20 years, and I'm very proud and doing that service. I was invited by Steve Forbes, the magazine publisher, in Boston Harbor, and invited to have a dinner in his yacht called Highlanders. And I walk up there with my wife, and I found inside the ship, yacht, there was a Nancy Reagan, Mrs. Reagan sat there. And then former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher was sitting there. Obviously that was before she died. There were about 20 guests. And then I met Steve Forbes before. We share this patriotism, America's future. However, I didn't know. He thought I was belonged to that group, Margaret Thatcher and Nancy Reagan in. About 3 hours, we took off to the harbor, and then enjoying the dinner, and came back to the harbor, Boston Harbor, and talked to my wife. Wow, why are we here? And talked to Steve Forbes. Why you invite me to here? You want me to clean toilet here or what? Another similar reason, similar incident. I'm involved at the Billy Graham Evangelical Association. And one time I was invited by Frank, Reverend Graham's son, Frank Graham. He's running Samaritan's Purse. Frank invited me to join a CEO group. It's okay. I'll be there. So Asheville, North Carolina, there's a Cove. I joined that group. It was a 3 nights and 4 days seminars. 3 straight days we talked about worship at the workplace, and I was a part of that group. What I want to talk about, significant about that meeting, when I got there, was the CEO of a Fortune 500 companies, Walmart vice chairman, chairman of the Steelcase Furniture, Chick-fil-A founder, Truett Cathy, Georgia Power chairman. And I was thinking, why I'm here? Who am I? They think, what did I do wrong? They must have a different message than I think I have. So I had to ask Frank, why I'm here? What's wrong? You're the best model. And I don't believe so. I really can't agree with it. So I share these stories, like Steve's yacht, Steve Forbes' yacht, and Franklin Graham's the invitation to CEO group meeting. And then it started one thing. I started a small business. I started cleaning toilet in steakhouse. And later, I found a janitorial service company called General Building Maintenance. People ask me how you started General Building Maintenance. I got into janitorial service business. We already talked about my first job in the U.S. was cleaning kitchen of a steakhouse. And General Building Maintenance was born accidentally. I was community volunteer, and a lot of immigrants from Asia come into this side of this part of the country, come to Georgia and Ontario area. And I got here obviously earlier than about 10 years before the immigrant wave from Asia coming in. And then there are people who need a job. There are people who need to get some help to find a good apartment, buy an even used car, and get a driver's license. And they can't speak English. So somebody had to help them, and I was one of the volunteers to go out to help them. Someday, I had to stand half day in the line at the driver's license place to interpret it. So they must have a driver's license. So testing and everything, I had to go out there, pro bono volunteer to help them while I was selling life insurance. I want to talk about the New York life insurance business separately. But when I was helping them, the most difficult thing was finding a job for them. I have 20, 30, 40 people, and I supply them to go find a job at the factories, the plants, and janitorial service companies. And then still coming, more immigrants need a job. They all speak no English. So I try to help them here and there. One day, I got too many. I got 12 people who need a job now. They desperately need it. So I pray about it, and then got inspired. What if I started some business to use that labor? And then it was in 1983, April 1st, I started a janitorial service company called General Building Maintenance. And I started, and then I used them, hired them. And it took me about 6 weeks to get a first contract. The contract is a presidential office park at the Spaghetti Junction area in northeast Atlanta. And I walk into the office park management office and say, I'm Sonny Park. I don't even have a business card. I don't even have a brochure. I don't even have references. But I like to get a cleaning contract. I need help. There's people who need a job desperately. It took a few weeks, but I got the contract. First contract, and then that small office park is only 90,000 square feet, and they only need about 3 people to clean, 3 full-time. But I put all 12 in it, and I didn't take any profit. I gave a share, all the money I received to share to 12 people, which is still not enough for the people that are working cleaning toilets. And obviously, a lot of people, they've done a great job. A few weeks later, the owner, not the owner, the manager of the building was very, very pleased to see the result. We don't steal, we don't talk much, we can speak English anyway. And then we work hard. And the place is clean, price is decent, and then owner was happy. And then he started calling his friends in the industry. You gotta meet this guy. This guy is a good, very good contractor. He charges less and his qualities are superb. And this person, my first customer, his name is Ben Lilly. He became my salesman. He was pretty much calling everybody in town, the building management, the industry. So I've been picking up the new contract every other week. new one, another one, another one. And then I have to go look for people that work for me. What magic about my business? So I use the full-time people. And that early 80s, the most the cleaning companies hire people as part-timers. So people work somewhere else and come do this about 3 hours in the evening, and they go home to make extra money. And I hired these people as a full-time. I put them in the work 5 o'clock, let them work until 1 a.m. And this is the only job for them. They have more commitment to the job, and they want to clean the space instead of a feeling of the time. So the bottom line is that we got the pretty good quality. I didn't plan it. I didn't even know the cleaning business. And then I learned two things. When you satisfy customer, they love you. When you use a committed employees, they do a better job. That's the two major things I learned. So I keep doing it. And then I made a lot of friends in the industry. And now, like I said earlier, now we're in the 21 US cities. And then it's still growing. So this business was actually created by God, not Sunny Park. I just did it, what I inspired, and then clean one bathroom at a time, good. And then this business has become one of the top 10 private cleaning companies in the US. And then I'm very proud of my people. So from that moment, I started the cleaning business 32 years ago. We still continue to expand, and then we become diverse to other industry, like building maintenance, like HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, and other sort. And now I have a different business with retired General Larry Ellis. I partner with him. And then we started a business called Vet Connects. It's a veterans connection. These days, we have a budget cut. So a lot of people, a lot of soldiers coming out of the military, and now they're looking for a job. And General Ellis and I inspired, and they wanted to find something to do with it. And then we've hired them. We started a company called Vet Connects, and then we do call center. We answer phone call. Right now, we working with several the major corporations in the U.S., and then hundreds of people answering phone call from the customers for the major corporations like AT&T, USAA. This job was actually brought back from the abroad. It was in the Philippines, in Indonesia, somewhere else. And then now we brought them back. We have over 100 people answering the phone. It's going to grow. So it is a meaningful thing. While we make some money, these veterans found a job. And then it is a very good scene to see. I also involve a nonprofit. Nonprofit name is Good Neighboring Foundation. And I do wanted to encourage and stimulate immigrants to this country to become loyal and patriotic American citizens, like me. I wanted to show them there's a more meaningful life when you serve one country, and when you do a good job, you will gain much more a proud life. So it's been working good. We have national anthem classes, American history classes, to make sure they understand how this country, young country, was born. We try to make themselves aware where they live, and then what country really want from them. Each one of us, all the citizens, the new citizens, old citizens, need to altogether serve this country to make it better in the future. So, Good Neighboring Foundation has been working very hard with the Asian American immigrant community since 1998, and they're working out good. And the nationwide campaign is a sort of civic movement, and we have several the people involved, and I'm very happy about what's going on with that organization. I also want to brag about some of the awards I received. In business sector, I received the Small Business Person of the Year by Atlanta Chamber of Commerce and Atlanta Business Chronicle. And I also was inducted to Atlanta Business Hall of Fame by Junior Achievements. And that was overwhelmingly pleased, because I can use that awards as a tool to motivate and stimulate high school dropouts. These awards are a meaningful thing for me, because I needed a tool. I can tell all day about I'm good, but when I have some kind of award and I can make the most of it and then stimulate others, it's a good tool. I also received very, very unique awards. I'm a recipient of Patrick Henry Trophy. It's a National Guard Association picked me in 1998 that the Patrick Henry Award recipient. And the Daughters of American Revolution gave me Americanism Medal. That was a great honor. And USO gave me a Patriotism Award. And these three awards I got, and I put those medals in the highest place in my wall, because that's a meaningful thing. I want to be American. I don't want to be a mediocre American. I want to be a good American and recognized by somebody. So possibly influence others to even better Americans. Because this country, since our kids not giving birth to many kids, we have to maintain our population with immigrants. No other choice. And as we're taking so many immigrants, we have to have good way to make them patriotic American, not just somebody come in and live and make a living. So it is important, I thought it's important that my role can do something about that. Talking about patriotism, I become a Republican Party member, and that was very early days in my U.S. life. I came to the U.S., one of the reasons was I wanted to be, like I said before, I want to be like a brave, kind, and American who cannot, Americans, to me, my imagination, the Americans are stand up for right things. Just like they come to Korea and help us. Save my freedom, save my life. And that's American. I came to the U.S. in 1974. 2 years later, Mr. Jimmy Carter got elected. And I was disappointed. He's a great man. Actually, I'm serving his foundation as a counselor. His foreign policy was not in line with my thought. Americans are leading the world, and then we cannot have a weak foreign policy. I read and I saw the TV news, American soldiers in Germany got trapped in the gangsters and then got beat. They can't even go out to pass because they're scared to death. It's about the anti-Americanism activities is going out.
everybody knows about our journalists got locked in and as a hostage in Iran, and the way we handle. I didn't like it. That was not American that I saw. So I was, although I was young and making living and cleaning toilets and then selling life insurance, I was not happy. And then I decided to support anybody go against Jimmy Carter. And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia from Indianapolis, 1978. A few months later, 1979, Ronald Reagan, visiting Marietta, the Cobb County Civic Center, he has a fundraiser. And that time, 1979, Georgia, Republican Party was very weak. Most of Georgians were Democrats. So at the annual convention, maybe 100 people showed up. And this fundraiser, there were not many people, but Ronald Reagan came. And I jumped in. I went there at the fundraiser. Nobody invited me. And I had my checkbook right here. And went to the fundraiser. They asked me, "What are you doing here?" So I said, well, because the appearance, I don't belong there. But I said, "I'm here to joining that fundraiser. I think that Ronald Reagan is here to raise money." So I brought my checkbook. They let me in, and then you got to give me a check. And I said, "Now wait a minute, and then I want to see if I really want to give." I listened to his speech, and this is a man, I think, restored the power. So I got excited, and then with the line of people and the handshake with Ronald Reagan. And Newt Gingrich was very small then, and he was next to him. And I walk up to Mr. Reagan, and with a $1,000 check. And that time, $1,000 was my net monthly income, entire monthly income. That's a lot of money. I didn't realize, but I was the highest donor, one of the highest donors in that campaign. I gave a $1,000 check. I didn't give him, and I showed him, said, "Mr. Reagan, I came to the U.S. and I want to be a strong American, but America become so weak to my eyes. Would you promise me restore that strength, make this country so powerful as it used to be?" He said, "Mr. Park, I'll do it. I'll make sure this country restore that strong, that powerful national image." And then I gave him a check. And there was a moment that, and I was so proud. And when he did a much better job, restore the Americanism in the world, and then I was feel, man, I'm the one who made it happen. I felt like I'm the one who had that. So I had ownership of that. Ever since then, I didn't even realize the difference of a Democrat and a Republican. But I'm already American. I mean, a Republican. So I made a lot of good friends on the Republican side. That was my political life. And then I am only Asian-born presidential elector in the country. As state of Georgia, and I'm one of the 15 elected presidential electors, and 2 straight consecutive terms that become electors, and then very proud to be that. Because of that relationship, and I get to know a lot of leaders in Georgia administration, I become the vice chairman of the Georgia Ports Authority. So I had a privilege to serve the Georgia citizens in 8 years in the port business. I traveled all around the world as a Port Authority vice chairman, and then trying to bring more ships to Savannah Port and Brunswick. So help the Georgia economy. And I think I did a little part of it. When I joined the Georgia Ports Authority, Savannah Port was producing about 1 million boxes coming in every year. But 8 years later, when I was leaving Georgia Ports Authority, there were about 3 million boxes that come in every year. So I want to take a little bit of credit that we've done something good to attract more cargo owners and the shipping line, the companies is coming to Savannah rather than any other ports in the East Coast. Bottom line, Savannah become #2 port in the East Coast, next to New York, New Jersey port. We surface at Charleston, we surface at Norfolk, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Wilmington. They're all behind us, way behind us. In fact, as Savannah Port is going to be harbor deepening the project going on right now, it will be Long Beach of the East. And then we ought to see the Georgia economy is going to be very, very prosperous because of Georgia ports. And then Brunswick become #1, I take it back, #2 in the East Coast about the cars and the cargo with the wheels, they call roll in, roll out cargo port in the United States. So it is very important for the Georgians to remember that the Georgia port is a big part of the Georgia economy. I want to share, actually testify what God did to me. I was involved with a very, very bad car accident. It was in 1991, 2 days before Thanksgiving Day. I was traveling to Columbia, South Carolina, and coming home at night. It was very early in the morning of November, about 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., and coming home at I-20 past Augusta, and then I slept on the wheel. And I had 2 passengers. Hit the guardrail, edge of the guardrail, and turned over. When I was waking up, I was sleeping. When I wake up, car was rolling, keep rolling. 1, 2, 3, and finally stopped, upside down. There were the 2 passengers screaming. I was upside down. I got my seatbelt out, come out. I couldn't move my body, the left side body, but I couldn't move the right. I pulled them out, passengers. The car was ready to blow up. It feel like it. There's steam all over. It was cold, and bring them out to the far side because maybe car blow up, and then I don't want them to get hurt. And then, because the car was under the ditch, the cars passing by the highway cannot see us. I climb up to the hill and trying to stop traffic. At 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, about 4 hours, the cars won't stop. The trucks passing by. It was a Sunday morning, and people would not see me, or even they see me, and then I wave, and they won't stop. It took about 4 hours before I saw that somebody radioed to the police station, and the police was coming back, come and pick us up. And when police come there, that's finally saw, and then ambulance came. And during that time, about 4 hours, my left side body was numb. Arm, I couldn't move the left arm. But I was going to eastbound, westbound. Every time I see some kind of vehicle, headlights show up, I go out to wave and stop them. I've done it, about 4 hours. When I got to the University Hospital in Augusta, when they take x-ray of my body, they just couldn't believe I had a neck fracture. C7 bone was a fracture. Usually, whenever I have a neck fracture, you tie it up, it'll be gone. But 4 hours time, I move around, run, up and down, run, all over. But I was fine. It's gotta be big brace with strong, yes, you can imagine. The God's hand was holding my neck. That's the only thing I can imagine. That's another moment that I was saying, it's gotta be God. He wants to use me a little longer. And I say, you have it. And then, ever since then, I try to think, today's my last day of my life. And then what? I'm so relaxed, so happy. I don't agonize too much about the small things. If it's my last day, today's the day, I'll be gone to God. And they say, why you worry about that small thing? It makes a big difference. From that moment, so I found the happiness. You're talking about life. I don't want to be too philosophical, but I sure things. I try to divide my life in 3 parts. If I live 90, I'm 72, going on 73. If I live 90 years, first 30 years, I've been learning. The second 30 years is a gain. And last 30 years is the sharing what you learn and gain. So I'm in the sharing stage of my life. We came with empty hand, we're going to leave with empty hand. And I'm no exception that I know. All I need is 3 meals a day, some nice coat, a nice place to keep my body warm at night. Family and colleagues, friends. To God's eye, that's very small. But sometimes my ego reaches 100 feet high. It's useless. And so when I'm thinking about today's my last day, and then I get relaxed and much better, enjoying my life. I also think I was fortunate to have a good mother. My mother, I'm biased obviously, but my mother was one of the best mothers in the whole world, ever in history. She taught me during the cold and poor days after Korean War, during the Korean War, we were so poor. But my mother never doubt about we're poor. And in the heart and the brain, we're rich. We're skipping meal, but we're still rich. People think it's weird. How can you do that? But my mother knows how to make me to think. So I learned that. My mother is one of the strong women in the whole world. And I never felt that I was poor, although I was skipping meal. Well, I want to talk about prejudice. A lot of people complain about the discrimination of this country. And I have a few instances, experience that I can share. I moved to U.S. and then I moved to Atlanta, and I need to get a haircut. So I'm walking to the barber shop. I sit in there, and I could tell the barber didn't like to cut my hair. I sit there, and then he took a while to come and start cutting my hair. He spent maybe 2 minutes. He cut my left-hand side hair all the way up and leave one side long and say, all done. So I said, with a broken English. What about this side? Oh, this is a new style. And a very mean face. Okay, so my sense told me to better get out of here. So I wanted to pay. So I said, well, I don't want to take your money. Just get out of here. That's one incident. But I have numerous of those incidents. And then every time I get through those experiences and talk to myself and say, is it a prejudice? Yes. Is that discrimination? Yes. But I'm the same way. We all, the human being, are born that way. If I'm in Korea, there's some people that look different or not like me, different culture, they're going to be treated differently. So it is human nature. It's not trying to hurt me or anything. It's human nature. And the barber is one of millions of people I met. One barber. Or maybe altogether, give me the number, maybe 20 people hurt my feeling in the entire life in the US, 40 years. So what? I do the same way. And I don't want to think about negative thing too much. Just positive and keep going. I have customers who mistreated me, prejudice, bad mind, but I work along fine. They pay me good money. I work. I don't listen to those. So the way I learned how to deal with the discrimination, if you call it, or prejudice, is upon your own decision, not anybody else. We all mingle with the same people with this thinking like, look alike, and that's not anything wrong. And that is our nature. Sure, this country is the best country, best model in the whole world about how to deal with the discrimination and diversity, because we have a certain rule. And I appreciate the Martin Luther King Jr. and civil rights movement, the leaders, because if they didn't fight and they didn't fight for that change of rule, I probably wouldn't be here. I don't want to have my life in the middle of a discrimination. American people adapted and changed it. Sure, we still have people have a different strong mind against color people and the people that don't look like them, like a KKK or anyone. But that's a reality. Any country, any society, any place in the world have that part. Very, very small part. So I do care, but it won't. It's not a major portion of my thinking. And while dealing with those, and I want to think, and I will spend my time with something I can control. And some people I know, good friends of mine, agonize all day to upset about somebody did something, and then worry about something they cannot control. And I wanted to get away from those. I learned a lot of lessons, so I was making a living like today. I came to the U.S. 1974. In 1976, I got out of cleaning as kitchen, the steakhouse kitchen cleaning, and I found a job at the New York Life Insurance Company. In the New York Life Insurance Company, I was selling life insurance to Indiana farmers with broken English. Today is my English, as you can tell, about 60% good. By the way, I want to apologize to you listening all this broken English, because it's hard. However, I got some story to share, and these obstacles, if you call it, all difficult things, can get over if you wanted to get over. If you're stuck with it, those things, it's all your choice, people's choice. But I decided to get over and get going. And while I was working, when I was working for New York Life and selling life insurance 2.5 years, my English was about 15% good, maybe 20. But I was knocking on the doors of Indiana farmers and sell life insurance. Not only sell life insurance, but I was a top salesman. Not only top salesman, but I was elected the president of a career conference of a new agents. Any agent, new agents in less than 3 years old with the company together in Waukegan, Illinois. We had a meeting every year. And then about 300 agents. At the last day of the conference, about 5 days, after 5 days, they elect one president for the conference. I ran campaign with broken English. I was elected as a career conference president. That's not it. I became a trainer for the new agents for 8 months for New York Life Insurance Company with broken English. There's nothing impossible. Nothing is impossible. People ask me how I did it. Well, I just go by the rule. I went by what my manager say. My manager make override little income of my sale. If I sell many life insurance policies, my manager makes a little extra money. So I should listen to him because he and I in the same boat, and he will teach me the right thing to do. He asked me this, I thought it was ridiculous. He asked me, Sonny, you need to make 30 contacts a day. 30 contacts. I don't have any cousin. I don't have any brother-in-law. And who should I call? It's up to you. You go find people. 30. And then a few days later, I made a decision. I want to do 33 a day contacts, 6 days a week. I'll do it. I just follow the rule. So my job was getting 33 no's before I go to bed. Every day I go out to meet people, to go to mall and people, to stopping people, and then just imagine the Asian face guy with a very poor English, then stop the people. I'm from New York Life Insurance Company. I want to sell you life insurance. Can we talk? I've done it. People bought. They bought a lot of policies. So I am thinking there's nothing is impossible. I made it 33 contacts every day, and I get 10% return, 10% success rate. And then I become top salesman. A lot of people, a lot of my colleagues in the office, we had Indianapolis general office, we had 28 agents. Every one of them looking to prospecting the millionaires. But Indianapolis, there are only a few millionaires. And people who wants to buy $100,000 policies. No. And they may not need life insurance badass low-incomers. So I start going knocking on the doors of low-income people who never visited by a life insurance salesman. I select a subdivision, housing, low-income housing. There's hundreds of homes there. I knock on all their work that blue collar works, like factories and RCA factories and GM factories. And they work all day, so Saturday and Sunday is only their home. So I start knocking on doors at 9 o'clock in the morning, knock on doors of this Indiana farmers and the blue collar workers subdivisions. And they having a good sleep and late night, morning sleep, and then somebody knocked doors, so they come in pajamas and open the door, and then ask me, "What do you want?" I mean, I heard all kind of cursing, as you can imagine, but I did call 33 people every day. And that was the beginning of it. And that was the fundamental of things. Truett Cathy, Mr. Cathy, founder of Chick-fil-A, wrote a book called, the first book actually, It's Easier to Succeed Than to Fail. I agree wholeheartedly with him. People follow the rule of success. Do what you need to do, and you get there. But people think they're smarter than God, smarter than books, so they want to put their own rule, and they end up fail. That's what Mr. Cathy say, and that's what I would say. I accept to tape this interview for a couple of reasons. I think I have a few experiences I'd like to share and then influence others positively. So my story worth more than just for myself, for a few others. And I want to leave this interview with a couple good wisdom. I always believe that treat others the way you want to be treated. It'll be the best way to be successful and have a happiness life, happy in life. I have a good story. I was a part-time car salesman. While I was selling life insurance on the weekends, I was also selling cars for a Chevrolet dealer. I only worked 2 days a week and some evenings. And one time, I had a customer of 4, husband and wife and 2 kids. So walk in the showroom and looking for a car to buy. Selling cars is like selling life insurance. It's a fun because not many people buy cars every other year, but car buying is a very, very unique, pretty much a history of any family. Especially those days in the 70s, the people don't buy a car every other year or every 3-4 years. The people drive cars 10, 15 years. So car buying is so important for them. And I was helping them, in the position to help them. This family walked in, 2 kids, and they have a very, very old car that drove in. They're looking for the Malibu Classic, 4-door. So I showed them all the cars, and they picked a car. They hesitated, but they picked a car. It's a dark blue Malibu Classic 4-door. While I was writing all this buyer's order, we made a deal, and they're buying a car. And I noticed the lady of the house, the mother of the 2 kids, wasn't that really, really happy. Because I see, every time they sell a car, it's exciting. Seeing them exciting, it excites me. So it's pretty much like a festival. But I noticed that this woman, the mother, was not really excited. So I had to ask, oh, ma'am, is there anything else I can do? Oh, you're fine, so I said. No, tell me please, something tells me that you're not completely happy with this car or me or whatever. And she goes, it's okay, I settled with this. What do you mean? Well, last 5 years, we wanted to buy a light blue car. But you don't have a light blue car here. But so we settled with dark blue car. So I said, I'll find a light blue car for you. Or don't even try. We check every dealership in town. And there was no light blue car, Chevy Malibu Classic in town. Oh, really? I checked. Sure enough, there's no light blue car in town. And I said, I'll find you. Find a light blue car for you. And then I found one in Knoxville, Tennessee. And then I said, well, don't buy this car. Go home and come back 5 in the afternoon tomorrow. It was a Friday night, and then come back on Saturday afternoon. Are you sure we're gonna get the light blue car? Yeah, I guarantee I get your light blue car. So they left. 4 o'clock in the morning, I drove this dark blue car up to Knoxville, Tennessee, and exchange. We trade each other, the Chevy dealers. So I picked a light blue car, drove down. It took me 4 hours one way, so 8 hours. All Saturday. I could sell 2 cars that day, but I missed it. Anyway, I brought that car back, the light blue car, and I washed it off. And at 5 in the afternoon, they showed up, and there is a light blue car. Now I see this lady, the face got open and really happy. So I said, this is it. This is it. It's a rewarding, the feeling. So they were very happy. They got signed all the paperwork, and they left. And after I came back to my little cubicle and counted all that the commission day, I only made $20. The expenses and this and that, I should have made at least a minimum $100 per car commission. But I only made it $20, 2 days work. So I said, man, am I dumb or what? This is a bad business. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's already passed, and I saw the smiling faces of the family left. So, all right, I gotta go find somebody else to buy a car, and then I try to forget, but keep coming back. I forgot about it, and about a month and a half later, I got a phone call from the man of the house, the woman's husband, and he called me and said, I want you to visit my office. So I say, okay, you're gonna buy a car? Maybe. And then I stopped by. There was it's called Scientific Atlanta. Very small company. In 1978, it was a very small company. They started the garage. They're making satellite antennas. But they're growing so fast. And when I got there, I found out this man was a purchasing manager for Scientific Atlanta. And he was so impressed at what I did. And then he's been buying cars for his company from me. He ordered trucks, he ordered vans, Chevy. They were buying Ford, and they changed to Chevrolet, and they've been buying a car through me. So I made a lot more commission than just $100. And this is a lesson I'd like to share with a lot of young people, that don't rush, do what you can do the best you can, and treat others the way you want to be treated. And then it's a reward, maybe not come immediately, but there's no free lunch. Giving or taking, same way, no free lunch. So you put more in, you're going to get more out. That's what I share with my kids and my young people, and especially those high school dropouts. In Korea, my mother has only one child, that was me. And then, even though those poor days, she treated me like a prince. So I would become very spoiled. I thought there's no other people in the world but only me. They say everybody lived there for me. I thought I was the center of everybody. And spoiled kid. And then my neighbors, they talk about me bad. And I overheard the women in our neighborhood talk about me. I overheard that they say, that spoiled kid, Sonny Park, would never make it anything. He's such a brat and no good. When I heard that, and I was shocked, and I was scared. I'm nobody. I'm not gonna be any good person. Oh, can't do that. I gotta make my own. And a few months later, I ran away from home. I don't want to be a prince no more. And then I want to become independent. I found a job. I changed to night school. So I've been going to night school. The high school was night school. I worked from 4 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon and go to school at 5 and finish school at 10:30. That was my schedule, 6 days a week in Korea. My employer didn't pay me anything for 12 hours of work every day, but feed me and send me to school, give me tuition. In Korea, you only get a free education for elementary school after 6 years, and then you got to pay at that time. So tuition was high, a lot of money, and then my employer paid for that. They feed me, there's a place to sleep. And I was a bad child to my mom because my mom missed me so much. She found out, I let her know where I am, and I told her I'm not going to go back because this is my way to make a living. And then I don't want to be dependent on anybody, even you. So I'm going to stand alone. And during that time, I learned so many lessons. And working for a grocery store is a wholesale grocery store. I was delivering a lot of merchandise, flours and sugar, bag of sugar, things like that to restaurants. Nowadays the truck, but those days they deliver with a bicycle. The bicycle is so big, twice heavier than my body, but I was running it. And I couldn't believe I could move that bicycle. And I learned the lesson, the wheel, the magic of a wheel. Put some little grease in and let the wheel work for me. And then I struggled with that thing first in a couple of months, but I can stack a 22-pound bag, flours, and I can stack 9 of them and still riding that bicycle on that. And then while I was riding, delivering that to restaurants, I learned a lot of lessons. One lesson I want to share with the young people is persistency. You start it, you got to finish. There's a little hill, one route I was delivering this flowers, one little hill, and with cargo in it. And there's a heavy cargo bicycle, and I was keep pedaling, and then climb up to the hill. And then in the middle of the hill, if you don't push, you fall. And I learned the lesson. Because I couldn't push it anymore, I gave up. The bicycle fall, all cargo fall. And then what I do? I need to reset, take all the cargo down and put a bicycle downhill. Stack them again, tied up with a rubber tie. And then ride that bicycle downhill and crank it again and then start it. Get enough power to get over here. This time, you don't want to give up. Keep pushing, keep pedaling. And then, once you get over the hill, the free ride. Cool air, so nice, go down the hill. And then, enjoying all this. So, I put more in early, but I get the free ride in later. It's like a life story. When you were young, when I was young, I put more in it. So I'm enjoying the later part of my life, free ride, which is not actually free ride, but easy. I don't have to push that pedal that much like I did before. That's the thing I learned it, and I thought it is some good lesson that I can share. One of the things I do is to stand up in the mirror, reflect my life and say, Sonny Park, how are you today? Are you going to be somebody special today or just one of the mediocres? Because a new me, every day is a new day, new sun come out. And I need to figure out how I'm going to be productive today. What am I going to do today for others. And then you feel that, you determine you're going to spend some of time today for others, and then you feel good. Rather, if you have a plan to spend all day for me, my family, I tell you, it doesn't make me happy. That's the magic of how your mindset goes. So I thought this interview is a pretty honorable thing for me, but actually some of the experience I share with you and others, other viewers. Hopefully it work in their lives. And then it's like a cash truck, a truck with a cash driving down to highway, and the back door open. There's a lot of cash flowing around the highway, and the people stop would pick it up. And some people will pick it up, some people ignore it and go. So I give a little bit of advice for you, especially young people. And somebody make it their own, somebody will pass by. So either lose it or use it. And I hope everyone who listened to my poor English got some idea, and then make it best for your life. God bless you all. Thank you.